Yes, and we are looking for real home.
Real home is always with us.
And that is always with us. Yes, that is always with us. And still we do not know. So understanding is there. Yes, understanding is there. Now, what is the problem? One part of intellect says, I understand, but the other ability, power of the intellect, is to realize that into an experience. So it is the intellect that makes us realize the real self. So, yeah, Krishna says we need a fortitude, a patience. Go back to the simple thing. Life is perception. The moment you saw me, Namaste Guruji, and I also said Namaste, response. Life is perception and response all the time. You see that? We always perceive and then respond. We always respond to perception. Does not matter whether we are rich or poor, intelligent or fool. We see and we respond. Whether child or young or old, wife or children, literate or illiterate, African or American, Ukrainian or Slovakian. Perception is there. The moment there is a perception, and it is response is there. Perception is knowledge. I know a particular thing. Maybe I know that thing clearly and I do not know. I know a thing and do not know a thing. Response is there. But now this response vary from person to person because of level of awareness. So husband was dating another girl in a restaurant and priest was sitting. So the husband got scared. So the girl said, why you are scared? You told me that you are not scared of the God, but I am scared of the priest. Why? The God will not go to my wife and tell me that I am dating, but the priest will tell my wife. Response, reaction, that is how we respond and reaction. Understand that response vary from person to person based on our level of awareness. So why we respond differently? First is level of awareness, second is level of knowledge that is realized, level of understanding. And that response we understand in the intellect by thinking. Now see that if the response either is based on perfect knowledge, I have understood I am the real self, the intellect responds, yes, I am the real self. No problem. This is what the awakening is. But now when the knowledge is not fully realized, then who takes over? That is what happened to you in the last session.
But problem that I didn't reflect at which moment it's happened and for what I react.
So when the ego takes over, its response is always faulty, always defective. So that is why every master says purify the mind, focus the mind. You see, we are going back to the basics today for a greater and deeper understanding. And when we do not do that, then we hurt ourselves. Then I'm going back. I'm not marching forward. You know, our namaste, our mangala charan, our purification is based on this understanding. Come on, everything is clear, door is clear, you have the key and everything. Now open it. See another way to understand. Oh, there is a snake. Action is instant. We jump out. Knowledge is 100%. You are real self. Knowledge is, is not 100%. We drop our ego for the sake of fear, for helping this body to survive. It is okay. But I want to know my real self. You are real self. Intellect says, but, if, how, where, when. Apply the same to snake. Where is the snake? Oh, it is sitting inside your chair. Okay, what kind of a snake it is, do you ever ask? First, let me get out of it. Get out of the danger. Another lazy perception or lazy action by the ego. Oh, you told me that I am the real self, so I will take care of it later. I have urgent business, and that is the impurity of mind. That is the impurity. Many people say that, I have done 10 sessions, nothing happened. I said, nothing will happen to you. Why should anything happen to you? Tell me. Why should anything happen to you? No, I should enter into the ocean of peace. So where is the ocean? Ocean is outside. Peace is outside. Leave meditation. Go into the sea beach. Because your mind is still projecting something. That projection is delusion, and that delusion is a part of the ego. So sometimes people do not understand. So when the knowledge is realized, means I know myself, but if not, that the problem of reaction, resistance, misunderstanding continues. Problem is ignorance. Problem is ignorance of what? Ignorance that I do not know real self. Apply to the snake. Problem is that I do not know snake is there, so no fear. Oh, what you are talking about? No, snake is under your chair. Okay, but what is a snake? Now see that. Compare these two. So the more we enter into this confusion and a conflict, that is why Master says, please purify the mind. 1, focus the mind. 2, get rid of the delusion of the desire which is projecting the happiness outside. Basics must be done 100%. Okay, I have understood. I have a fairly pure mind. But then we go to honey. We say, no, I don't agree with you. The impurity we have already, another impression we have already created. So that is why Master says karma yoga. Purify the mind. Karma yoga. Get rid of this ego. Purify the mind. And then only we can do it. We can do it. So now just you are an engineer, so I always see that how can I put logically. 100% intellect is in service. When the intellect is 100% in service, when? In case of a snake. Normal, we are a seeker. 75% intellect is in service, mind is 25%, makes you emotional, makes you stick to a particular thought, you get obsessed. 50-50, 50% is intellect, 50% is mind, forgetfulness, foolishness. 25% intellect and 75%, 75% mind. Mind is constantly wandering. 0% intellect is in service. We are a non-seeker. That is why we say, if the 0% is intellect in service, 100% is mind, mind is wandering, mind is in delusion, mind is constantly experiencing pain and pleasure, mind is totally outside. So let us understand a little bit about this business of the mind and intellect. But first let me summarize it completely. I was giving a lesson last Thursday to the New Jersey group. About Gita. One woman gave me a beautiful metaphor for understanding. She said, intellect is mother and mind is a child. So if you do not care your mind from the intellect, who is a mother, to a child, who is the mind, nothing will happen. But if I don't care like a mother, I build my ego. Ego comes and says, no, I don't understand. I have been doing it for so long and nothing happened. Beautiful. Now let us understand deeply. Intellect means thinking, observing, understanding, making a choice, and holding on that decision. Every time any snake comes, you hold on to one decision. Why not with the real self? Ask yourself. Because intellect is dictated by the mind. Is intellect not available at the time you are in delusion? It is available. It doesn't leave you. So why you forget? Mind. We don't make a choice, we don't allow the intellect to be available. So when you don't allow the intellect to be available, the ego will take over, the delusion will take over, reaction will take over, the pain will take over, the pleasure will take over. Intellect also uses the sense organs and the mind also uses the sense organ. But they change their track. Intellect says, come on, hold on, let me see, let me take an instant response to the snake. Mind says, why to worry? Remain lazy. Understand that intellect is always available, but I make the intellect unavailable. So why? Because it is non-thinking. Why non-thinking? Non-thinking leads to ego. Think in that way.
But in the beginning of Gita, the Arjuna is in confusion. It is also the same. So, but I cannot say that he is not thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking about the relatives, the teachers, and how he have to fight with his family.
Mind was going through the sense organ to his relations and the people and thinking and fell down into delusion. But the other part, the intellect, says, Krishna, now I have realized you are the master, I am a seeker, please guide me. I surrender to you. Duryodhana never did it. This is what I'm talking. Do you make your intellect available all the time? You are 100% right. But add one more thing. Arjuna said, there was both Arjuna and Duryodhana, you have heard the story, they went to Krishna that now the war has started. So Duryodhana said, give me all your army. You are also my relative. And Arjuna was little bit scared because Krishna gave a permission to the Duryodhana to ask anything. And then Duryodhana asked all the armies. Arjuna was relaxed. I only need you, Krishna. I only need you, Krishna, is the wisdom, the steady wisdom. That is exactly, you have put forth the right point. The mind going through the sense organ, the moment I feel pain, anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict, building the ego, one aspect. Intellect says, mind, where are you going? Why you are deluded? But I'm confused that why I'm deluded. I don't have a clarity. So Arjuna said, Krishna, I surrender to you. The moment he said, he became a seeker, and then the journey of the Gita started. Duryodhana said, hell with you, I know everything. We were talking of religion, dharma, yoga, meditation. I know everything. But I don't feel like doing what you say. Mind. That is why Duryodhana got defeated. He says, I have an intellect, but this intellect will follow what the mind is saying. See that? Every time, every moment in your life, Taras, every moment in your life, allow the intellect to be available. What the hell you said to me? Hold on, mind. Let me think. I think it feels that you have an idea of inserted me, but let me think why you did this. Intellect. Intellect. Check it. Is the intellect available all the time? All the time. Purification. This body is like a car. Limbs, hands and feet, tongue, they are the wheels. 5 wheels we have. Engine is the mind. Driver is the intellect.
First, use face recognition to I'm not able to do that yet, but I'm...
Mind has emotion, feeling, habits, impulses, obsession. Where's the role of intellect comes here? The intellect recognizes I'm getting obsessed. Hold on. Mind, come back. Leave the obsession. Come back. I did not succeed. Come back. I failed. Come back. I got lot of pleasure. Come back. You are weakening the mind. Everything comes. Viveka comes here. Dispassion comes. Detachment comes. Everything comes here. I'm just going back to the basics but explaining you in a different way. If the mind is stronger than the intellect, we start blaming, complaining, reacting, but as a human being, our intellect can take over us. Intellect can take over us. Did I tell you I think you know the story, a 16-year-old boy. Why you fail in examination all the time? And after all, I am your dad. Don't you see that? I have a rich experience. The boy said, how old are you? 70. But yes, you are 70 years old. But as a father, you are also 16 years of age, because I am 16 years of age. So understand, the mind puts these logic. That is why the Shravan comes. So that ultimately this intellect learns that I should not fall down to the dictate of the mind. When you do not fall down to the dictate of the mind, Arjuna did it. Arjuna had all the confusion. We should have it, but at the same time, the intellect should be put into the service. What happened? Mind, where are you going? Come on, my baby, come on. No need to obsession, no need to create a blame, complaint, and reaction game. Can you calm down? Can you live into that state? It happens only by knowledge. And the Arjuna remained as a seeker. Understand? Why to use the intellect? Use the intellect to observe, to choose, to control, to change our life. If intellect is stronger than the mind, we choose what is right and good. Naturally comes the Shreyas. Mind naturally goes to prayers. Prayers builds our ego, it triggers our emotion, reaction, etc., etc. Mind is stronger than the intellect. We choose always what we like and what is pleasant to us. Why it is so? Now see why it is so. We are evolved from animals. Animals have the four instincts. So two-legged animal we continue to get dictated by the mind. That is not being a human being. That is what I say, loveless life to loveful life of Bill Gates. Don't you realize that he has $127 billion worth? And if Bill Gates does not have a time to ask himself, am I happy? No, I was unhappy for 27 years. What should I do? I should find another woman. But if someone puts a thought into his intellect, that why don't you first think about where lies the happiness? The problem will be solved. He is a genius. His IQ is very good. But the approach of the Shreyas is not there. Simple approach of the Shreyas is not there. There is a ready-made solution. I hate you, so I will find another. There are 7 billion people. I love you, so I will continue with it. The moment you don't love me, so I get frustrated. It is everything mind is doing. This is what we say, the impurity of the mind. When we work for the mind, prayers. When we work on the mind through the mother intellect, Shreyas, the result is the beginning of the Eastern wisdom. Now see another part, Taris, that what existence wants from me. Think have a bigger picture. What mind wants from me? Everything that is more. Why I should have 1 woman, 5 women is better. Why you have only $1 million, $5 million will be better. You see more. Why you have one t-shirt, I should have 15. You see, mind wants more. Intellect wants not more. Intellect says, where is the right thing? What is right and good? That is the beauty. So now see that you observe in your life. Mind wants instant result. Intellect says, I have understood it. Patience is required. Seed cannot become a tree overnight. It is the job of the intellect. Job of the mind, why don't I have the pleasure? I have been coming to your restaurant every time. I give you more tip, but today food is so bad. The intellect understands it. You are talking of Gita. Gita started with a blind husband. Blind husband, the father of Duryodhana. And then there is so this blind husband got married to a beautiful woman. Now look at this woman who does not have a common sense. She said, no, my husband is blind, so I will also cover my eyes with cloth. So I will also remain blind throughout my life, and that is the cause of the battle of Mahabharata. She should have guided. Honey, don't do this. Don't follow the dictate of your son. Give even the 5 villages. 5 villages means pure awareness, peace, happiness, truth, wisdom, and love. Attributes of the real self. So what happened then? Then this mind imagines, tricks, distracts, reacts, angers, misleads. It acts like a coronavirus. See that? It weakens me, but I feel I have a tremendous strength. Because it is going for instant pleasure, and it see that I got the pleasure. Intellect always like to see what is the truth, what is right and good in life, keep the focus. It builds a tremendous strength inside. So it conserves the energy, it builds the strength, it goes to the peace, it chooses the calmness, both are within us. The child should be guided by the mother, the intellect, and the problem. 99% of the problems of the world will. Mind bluffs. How it bluffs? Here is the pleasure. In that person, in that thing. Have more. Have more. That is the nature of the mind. Intellect asks, are you happy? Yes. Why you are seeking more? Because you are attached, because you have a delusion. So is it possible to remove the delusion and continue to have more? Yes, it is possible. How? Purity of the mind. It is possible. Tell me, was Buddha a greater seeker or the Janaka was a greater seeker? Janaka remained as a king. He did not care to leave the kingdom. And he reached to the highest. Buddha was scared, my wife, my son. In a film, you see the Buddha was shown that he is looking at his wife and the son. I'm leaving the attachment. Come on, attachment is inside your head, not outside. Who is the greater? Who is greater? Janaka. So So when that attachment and detachment goes away, ego goes away, attachment, detachment works with the ego. With the ego. So that is why the master, the Gita again says, equanimity. Yeah, that also needs to be properly understood. It will clear your mind and it will help you progress. What do you mean by equanimity? I have a mouse and I have $1,000. Equanimity. What do you mean by it? What do you mean by equanimity? Are they both equal? No, not at all. I can have maybe 100 mouse with $1,000. Understand that. What is the point? I give due value and respect to every object without attachment. That is known as equanimity. Mouse, why? What is this? What mouse can do, $1,000 cannot do. Do you see that? So I give due respect, utility, value, respect to every object in this world. I'm talking of equanimity with reference to the objects. Objects include mouse, things, phone, money, everything. So when I give due value and respect to every object, but without attachment, what happens? I live in equanimity. Oh, this is mouse, beautiful mouse. I can work. Yes, I can work. Good. $1,000. I should use it for my expenses. Due care. I know what it is meant for. What is this object? Dollar. What is this object? Mouse. What is this object? Cloth. What is this object? Watch. Car. Did you understand the first part? Now ask yourself, what about equanimity with experiences, pain and pleasure, honor and dishonor, heat and cold? Now think of it. The intellect must be awakened to these challenges. Yeah, it is more challenging. Pain and pleasure, honor and dishonor, heat and cold. They are more challenging to me than mouse and dollar. What do you mean by that? Do you think that when I say equanimity with the heat and cold, will the heat and cold go away from my body? Will it go away? If I come to your country and it's very winter and I'm living, snowfall is there, no, I have an equanimity. Let me wear a short and t-shirt and go out. Is that equanimity? No. I should care. It's cold. It's too hot. Should I cover myself with a blanket and go out? What is that equanimity? Equanimity is not with reference to the object. Equanimity is a subjective state of the mind. First thing to understand. Whatever is happening will continue to happen. Continue to happen. Say if your one employee is difficult, so there are two types of employees. One employee makes life difficult and other employees are difficult. They both are outside. Joy and sorrow will always be there. Honor and dishonor will always be there. And heat and cold will also be there. So where is the problem? What is the solution? It is happening because of attachment and detachment living in the mind. That must go. And let me take care. If it is hot, let me wear. If it is cold, let me wear my warm dress. Do you see that? See that with the clarity. If my honey is causing lot of problem, keep quiet. If she remains quiet, still remain quiet. Solution is there. But when she comes down and she asks, this is the problem, ask her, can I say something towards the solution? Yes. Then you say it calmly. Equanimity. Do you see the effect of it, impact of it? But if she reacts, you react. Why you react? Ego, attachment and detachment. Ignorance. Is it necessary to react? No. Let the intellect as a mother take care of the mind. You endure. So when you endure that pain, how dare you are my wife, I am a male. How dare you say that? No, don't say that. Break that pattern. Because you are a seeker. That is why you need to break it. Don't say that, it is happening in my country, so I will do it. No, you are a seeker. You are beyond a country. Here, equanimity is freedom from likes and dislikes. How it will happen? If the intellect is acting like a mother, because you become a thinker. From a non-thinker, you become a thinker. Mind is impulsive, instinctive, habitual. It doesn't think. It brings in the past thought. It says, this is it. So ego is already working. We say ego is delusion. Do you see that? So when we see this again and again in day-to-day life, it is not that sadhana, you do it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, no, 24/7. 24/7 with a smile on the face. So you see that intellect, it is all. So now see that equanimity with the people also. One person is my wife, other is a well-wisher, third is a friend, fourth is the enemy, fifth is maybe the person is jealous of me, fifth is the monk, sixth is the mother, like this. We find a lot of people. Now find out yourself, what the intellect, what is the subjective level you have to treat it to have that equanimity. Wife, our honey is like a Socrates wife. You have heard the story. What should you do? That is equanimity. See that? You give due respect. Okay, thank you, honey. I know, internally you say, I can understand. One time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. After that, she will realize this guy is more crazy than me. The moment I will speak anything with well-wisher, with friend, we talk. You see that? We talk. That is so equanimity is the state, comes from here and passes on to others. It does not come from outside and then inside. What comes from outside to inside is mind. Do you see the result? Instant result is there. daughter, when they are not a seeker, daughter feels it is their right to oppose dad and mom. So simple. She has also come and, why dad you are doing like this? No, do like this. No, you have to do like this. No, you don't understand. You are good. You are pointing me, you are good. Eastern wisdom says equanimity with the people, due respect to what they are. Then check. Now the intellect has started thinking. Is it necessary to react? No. No. Daughter will remain daughter, whether I respond and do not respond, whether I react and do not react. You see that? How the intellect gains the understanding. So if you are a thinker, you say, okay, you are right. Oh, you oppose me. You are 100% right. I never thought the way you thought of it. But let me think of it. Let me reflect. Let me digest that. What will happen? She has one day to realize what she is doing. Same with the honey, same with the well-wisher, employee, friend. That is what the equanimity is. Means you do not disturb the calm and the poise of your mind based through your intellect. Whatever the situation is there outside, you become the highest level of C. Because if you are challenging through your mind the different situations, you are strengthening your ego. Do you see that? You are strengthening, you are making your ego powerful. And when you are making the ego powerful on one side, doing meditation on the other side, so one increase the resources and the other decreases the resources. That is why we say early in the beginning, we have to purify the mind. We have to purify the mind. Mind continues its journey with the pleasure. Intellect asks, what is the ultimate pleasure, that is permanent happiness? Mind says, I can get the instant pleasure. Intellect says, instant pleasure is not the pleasure, it is a delusion. So what is the ultimate goal of life? It is the supreme purushartha, the ultimate. What is ultimate? Ultimate means permanent. Very good. Now challenge your mind. Are you seeking permanent happiness by temporary solution? Mind is always seeking temporary solution. Let me be happy eating pasta there. Let me have this man or this woman. Let me buy this and that. Mind is always seeking temporary solution, claiming that it is permanent. Intellect knows it. 100% it knows it. Allow the intellect to be available, then we start becoming a seeker. That is the role of a seeker. Why? The intellect knows the subject matter is the real self. It is not the object outside. It is not the object outside. There was a rich man, so he had $10 million. He said, I want more. How much? 20 million. So when you have 20 million, then how more? And the other guy has 9 kids. Tell me who is more happy. So who stops asking more? So the first guy was asking 20 million, 30 million for. So someone asked the other guy who has 9 kids, do you want more? No, I don't want more. No more. So he is more happy. The one comparison between the mind and the intellect. It does not mean that we should not work hard. Continue, work hard. Work smarter. Attachment is not there. Ego is not there. We continue to be a seeker. It is good to be Janaka than Buddha. Buddha did austerity for 6 years. Then only he reached to the state of Janaka, and then everything happened in a minute. See that? Alar Kalam, who was the last teacher who took him from the Hatha Yoga and Tantra Yoga teacher and asked him that, you give this crazy boy to me. He is doing nothing. He has broken all the rules because he has already broken the rules. He realized that it is not by austerity. It is not by standing on one feet. It is not by fasting. I already feel the calmness. But Janaka is already there. And still he wanted a master to guide him. So Janaka master said, you see the beautiful, when Janaka reached to that awakened state, then Janaka said, now, the Ashtavakra said, master said, now is the time for examination. And what a beautiful word comes from the master. First verse in the 3rd chapter is the question. What is the question? You told me that you experience the real self. It is pure consciousness. It is permanent peace and happiness. Janaka said, yes, I experienced that. Ashtavakra asked, then why you are desiring, why you are ruling the kingdom? What is the fun? And the Ashtavakra answered, I know, my son, you are 100% detached from the kingdom that you are ruling. You are definitely there. Look at the Buddha. You see, you have to check. This gives you a very deeper understanding. Buddha, after enlightenment, went back to his kingdom, knocked the door. Father and the wife came out. Wife said, I know you have been seeking pleasure with me. Come inside. I know you have lived your life, maybe fasting and lot of challenges. That's why you have returned. And Buddha was smiling. Father said, okay, only when you enter inside into the kingdom, again, I will give you the kingdom. Buddha said, I have not come for these. Detachment. He reached to that state of detachment. I have not come for this. I have found the permanent happiness. Honey, are you ready to follow me? Dad, are you ready to follow me? They did not. Now see, the outer life glitters with the more and more and more. Inner life starts glittering once you have reached. Once you have touched, once you have found the real self, then it glitters. You have millions of stars, but as the sun rises, stars has no value. So what is that point? Intellect. Ask the intellect to work like a mother to treat the child. And the child is the mother. Because if you force the mind to detach yourself, it will create another ego. Why it is not happening? I've been doing it for so long. Now, crazy mind, I will deal with you. You are dealing one part of the ego with the other part of the ego. It will not happen. It will never happen. You see that? That is why we say 4 connections. Now understand. That is why we say 4 connections. What is the first connection? Am I a qualified seeker? Yes, I'm a qualified seeker means, do I have a purified state of the mind where the intellect is always available? First thing. Can the intellect keep the focus on the real self, not on the ego? Why ego? Pick up attachment and detachment. Don't take the ego as an entity. No, there is no entity here. Attachment, detachment, likes, dislikes, pain, blame, instinct, impulsive. These experiences are ego. Do you see that? These experiences are ego. So that is why we say the first connection is becoming a qualified seeker by asking the intellect, removing the impurity of the mind and restlessness. Restlessness. Last time you had the restlessness. You should have recognized the restlessness. Let the real self go to hell. Let me first be restful. See that? First step is first step. Restfulness, calmness, poise, intellect will work very fine. You already see it. You have many experiences. Mind causes all these problems. It will not be restful, calm, and poise. So second is what we say, the subject. Now the intellect is clear. Yeah, let me pick up again from the Gita, that will be better. Intellect is holding the mind on the real self consistently while you are living in the world. Equanimity will take care of itself. Calmness will take care of itself. The joy will take care of itself. So qualified seeker, subject matter, what is the result? What do I get? When I see the snake and when I say here is a snake, what you act instantly, you jump out of that chair. You want to keep a distance. That is the result, to save yourself. What is the result? That I'm out of my ignorance, it is gone. That is why we have 3 connections, 3 points here, and the fourth is the connection between the seeker and the knowledge. What is knowledge? Where is the seeker? Teacher comes in between. Teacher points to the seeker, teacher points to the knowledge. This is what the Shravan is. Are you aware of the both? Seeker, knowledge. Seeker, knowledge. So that is known as the real Shravanam. Relationship between the seeker and the knowledge, where it lives in the intellect. And then another relationship between the seeker and the result. Mind becomes impatience. Intellect says, I am still looking for. It lives in patience. Mind says, find something, pleasure outside. Intellect says, I'm done with you. My son, come back. Pay attention here. There is a real self. I don't see it. Intellect says, have patience. See, it is not realized in a day. You see that everything is happening deeper inside, nothing outside. So it does not mean that we will not do the breathing practices, mantra chanting, focus on the Shiva, etc. So we will continue to do it. But ultimate goal is that we are not doing anything and we are there. We are not doing anything. We are there. This mind does not believe. It goes back. So the same mind says, do something to return. And then it repeats itself. It again becomes habitual, instinctive, full of duality and a conflict. So that cycle continues. We have to break this cycle. Once you break this cycle, you are out of it. Summary. Intellect should act as a mother to the child, that is mind. Equanimity. Instantly you have a headache. Intellect says, mind, calm down. I see there is a headache. Let me find out what is the best. But intellect says definitely that I am not in pain, it is my head. Even you think it, the 90% ego drops. 10% we need it. 10% we need it for daily working. So the basics, if we are not, this is what Patanjali says, this is what everyone So Ashtavakra summarized in one word how dispassion is attained. Bhagavad Gita gives you lot of steps, steady wisdom, and Patanjali says, no, empty the mind of its content. Because if there is no object, the subject ego is not there. That needs to be understood properly. So once you understand that clarity, intellect is there acting like a mother to the son, child. And it will bring the changes every minute in your life. This is what happens, my friend. Listen to it and after that contemplate and reflect.